It's redrafting time. All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus show. I am Lupagus, and the season's over. The off season hasn't really got rolling yet. It's time. It's time to go back and look at the 2022 NFL draft and see what the Vikings probably should have done, knowing what they know now. Before we hop into that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids, hit up Lift Bridge Brewing. Either go to the facilities at New Richmond, Wisconsin, or Stillwater, Minnesota, or find their beer at a liquor store near you. And also hit up That's Badass Wood Art. They're on Twitter. They can make you pretty much anything you want. They'll make wood art of your dong if you want. They'll do anything. That's badass. And also drop hashtag badass in the comments below for your chance to win. Two pieces will be given away here very, very soon. All right, let's talk about Minnesota Vikings 2022 class and a redraft. So redrafts are just pretty much fun. I mean, this doesn't mean that we've given up on the players we did draft. Actually, I'm very, very excited about the future of the Minnesota Vikings 2022 draft class. I think when they're healthy, you got some guys who could really contribute here next year. And next year, you add the rookies from this draft, the rookies from last year. It's almost going to be like having two rookie classes together with so many guys missing time. So it doesn't mean I'm giving up on anybody. Just seeing like if everything went perfectly, how the Vikings may have changed their selections when they did make them. And really, if they made these changes and took these players, I think the Vikings may still be playing right now, ready for this championship game against whoever, Niners or Eagles. But let's see what they should have done. So let's go and start with round one. Original pick was Lewis Seen. The Vikings probably, what they do in the redraft, they go Christian Watson, wide receiver, North Dakota State. He had 41 receptions, 611 yards, and 7 touchdowns. And the thing with Christian Watson is his season got off real rocky. He had that big drop against the Vikings. He's just kind of seen as a speedster, but as the season progressed, he actually was more than that. Figured out how to use his big body to go up and high point the ball. He had a stretch there where he caught like 7 touchdowns in 4 games. He quickly became one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets, probably even arguably his favorite target. So Christian Watson, you put him next to Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson. They had him feeling that. I mean, it would have been a hell of a receiving group. I don't think we would have seen those triple teams, double teams on Justin Jefferson because he wouldn't have been able to because Christian Watson could burn you deep. So would have been a huge pick for the Vikings. They could have had him and said they traded and let him go to the Packers, and now we got to worry about him every couple, twice a year. So Christian Watson, I think a redraft you go that route. Let's go to round 2. The first pick there, they took Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback from Clemson. Andrew Booth Jr., as we all know, got hurt. He was kind of the buzz of camp early. Everybody talking about his swagger, how he's talking shit to Jefferson and Thielen. Then he kind of gets hurt. I don't know if it was a knee then or what the hell it was, shoulder or something. Kind of started falling back a little bit in and out of the lineup. He finally got a start about midpoint of the season, was picked on, didn't look great. And he hurt his knee again and ended up missing the rest of the year. So that was the original pick, Andrew Booth. In a redraft, we're taking safety Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. He ended up going to the Bears, but man, this guy would have looked real good in purple. 104 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, broke up 2 passes, forced a fumble, recovered a fumble, intercepted a pass, and had 4 sacks. That is a damn playmaker. He was what we were hoping Lewis Seen could bring to the table this year. He did it in Chicago. He was the one bright spot on a real, real dark year for the Bears. Bears ended up getting the first pick. But they did have Jaquan Brisker just playing his ass off. So this guy looks like a longtime playmaker for the Bears. Gay, good for you, Chicago. You got yourself a hell of a ball player. Could have been the Vikings. Didn't go that route. They went somewhere else. So, again, not giving up on Andrew Booth. But, man, Jaquan Brisker, would have been nice to see him in purple. Let's go to round 2. Vikings took Ed Ingram. Ended up starting every single game at right guard. So they definitely got production. They definitely got a return on this pick. You can argue, was that a quality return or not? Pretty good in the run game. Pass blocking, not so great. We've seen him step on Kirk Cousins' toes multiple times, which is just weird that it happened more than once. He's got a lot of work to do in the offseason. His pass protection has to get better. I'm not giving up on Ed Ingram, but I don't think he should be handed the job. I think he should have to earn it in camp. So Ed Ingram, he was he was the rookie who got the most playing time. I'm not gonna say he's the most valuable rookie, but he needs to work on some things. If I'm redrafting on the Vikings, I'm taking cornerback Tariq Woolen. He ended up going like in round 5, but let's just get him in round 2. He deserves it. He's worth it. Hell, he could have gone round 1. He started all 17 games, had 63 total tackles, broke up an impressive 16 passes, recovered 3 fumbles, had 6 interceptions, and took one of those to the house. Tariq Woolen, playmaker. He had size, speed. The one knock on this guy was he's inexperienced. He's only played corner in college for 2 years. Is that why he fell around 5? There had to have been something else. I don't get it. I was shocked when it happened on draft day. I was shocked that he I mean, I get it. Like, I understand that he was raw. But the talent, you don't see size like that and the speed combined very often. And I think he maybe played with a chip on his shoulder. And I know Sean Desai was his cornerback coach, or he worked with the defensive backs in Seattle, interviewed for the Vikings defensive coordinator position. So maybe he's just like a cornerback whisperer. I don't know. But Tariq Woolen freaking balled out this year, and he could have been a Viking multiple times. I took him around 2, just thinking, like, you know what? We're not going to let him go any farther. This guy needs to be in purple. Could have had him. We didn't take him. Tariq Woolen. Damn. All right, let's go with next pick, round 3. Vikings took Brian Asamoah. Again, in a redraft, if we did this next year, Brian Asamoah maybe even goes higher. I think he's going to have a huge breakout year next year. I think he's the one Vikings player you can bank on just being a huge ascension from year 1 to year 2, because I think he's going to be our starting middle linebacker. You love the fire, you love the energy he plays with. The guy is absolutely, I think he can be a major playmaker for this Vikings defense. And I think he will be Eric Kendrick's heir apparent starting in 2023. But he didn't play much last year. He had the 1 forced fumble that he picked up. He never was going to play much. He's more of a special teamer. So if we're looking for help, immediate help, why not go back to the cornerback and grab Martin Emerson from Mississippi State? This guy was ultra productive as a rookie. Just locking down receivers. Great. He was absolutely fucking great. All right. So let's see. What did he do? I didn't have his stats ready. Martin Emerson. He had 63 tackles. Martin Emerson, 63 tackles, 1 sack. He started 12 games. No, fuck. God damn it. Really fuck this one up. All right. Instead, I mean, for year 1, if you want a guy who's going to help you right away, they probably should have gone with Martin Emerson. He played in 17 games. He had 6 starts, 1 sack, 63 total tackles, a tackle for a loss, hit the quarterback once. He had 15 passes defended. Look at the Vikings secondary. They had young corners. They couldn't stay on the field. Caleb Evans had some concussion issues, and Booth Jr. had the knees and pretty much everything else. Martin Emerson proved to be a durable, reliable player, played very, very well. Vikings could have had him in round 3. And, again, this is the pick that I really think Asamoah is going to end up being the way to go in the future. But after 1 year, it's Martin Emerson. Let's go to round 4. Vikings took a Caleb Evans, who they should have taken in a redraft. They're taking Cordell Volson, Ellis Gregor's boy, offensive lineman from North Dakota State. He started every single game at left guard, played very well. And here's the thing about Cordell Volson. He can play tackle. He can play guard. He's massive. He's just a giant man. Joe Mixon gave him the game ball after the Bills win in the divisional round. Just shows how his teammates think of him, how they respect him. Cordell Volson, this is what the Vikings really need. They need to have that swing tackle guard guy who can play multiple positions. They could have had him last year. They passed. And are they kicking themselves? I don't know, because Caleb Evans does have some promise. But, man, Cordell Volson feels a huge need right now. And would the Vikings have put him at right guard? Maybe. Would he have been better than Ed Ingram? Maybe. But Volson gives you all kinds of depth with 1 pick. Let's go to round 5. Vikings took Asezi Atamuelo, defensive end from Minnesota. Didn't do much. He didn't really show up to the last 5 games. He had like a tackle a game. I think he had 1 tackle for a loss. Will he make the team next year? Probably, but he should really be forced to fight for his job because I don't think anything should be handed to him. Still got a lot to prove. Redraft, the Vikings are taking linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez from Oklahoma State. 87 total tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 2 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 1 sack, and a fumble recovery. He's one of the stars of Hard Knocks, Rodrigo. A lot of character to this kid, and he played damn well. And, the Vikings in this redraft don't have Brian Asamoah, but they do get Malcolm Rodriguez. That's a pretty nice consolation prize. And year one was definitely an upgrade. So Malcolm Rodriguez goes to the Vikings. In the redraft, let's go there. Round 5 pick. Vikings took a running back, Ty Chandler. And this was kind of a pick where Ty Chandler was never going to really see much of a role on offense as a rookie. He's absolutely buried on the depth chart. Cook, Madison, Nwangu in front of him. Even CJ Ham probably in front of him. So he never was going to get much for carries. He was a special teamer primarily. So we don't know what we have in Ty Chandler yet. I think his role will be pretty big next year. But the Vikings, they could have took Isaiah Pacheco, running back from Rutgers, who the Chiefs took in round 7. He had 830 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, just a fiery little runner, aggressive runner, physical. And he kind of broke out in camp, and by midseason really became the Chiefs' primary running back. Jerick McKinnon is kind of taking that back now, but Pacheco, very impressive. And the Vikings, I mean, if they take Pacheco, at least they know they have a guy who can handle the load. With Ty Chandler, the question mark still remains there. Round 6, let's go to Vikings took Vidarian Lowe, the offensive tackle from Illinois. If I'm redrafting, I mean, Vidarian Lowe, he showed up in the Bears game, I think, and he did okay, but that was the one game he was actually active. Otherwise, I think he was a cut, ended up being signed to the practice squad. So he'll probably be more of a primary backup in year 2. But they could have had Jamari Salyer, the guard from Georgia, went to the Chargers. He had 14 starts. He graded out with almost a 69.2 in PFF. So a guy who came in, played well, got some run with the Chargers there. I don't know if I said Steelers, I meant Chargers. So Jamari Salyer could have been the pick there, a guy who can also play guard or tackle. So Vikings went Vidarian. Jamari was on the board. Looking back at it, maybe they should went that route instead. Let's go to the other round 6 pick. Vikings took wide receiver Jalen Naylor, and I almost kept him in this one just because I do think Jalen Naylor showed some promise. He had 1 touchdown. Maybe he had 2. And I think he will probably be Vikings wide receiver 3 or 4 next year. But who was sitting on the board was outside linebacker James Houston, who went to the Lions. This guy had 8 sacks in 7 games. He didn't really start playing until the Thanksgiving game, and he was an absolute beast. Every defense, I don't care what if you're 4-3, 3-4, 5-2, 1-11, 10, whatever. You want pass rushers. You want guys who can pressure the quarterback. And the Vikings could have had one in James Houston, and they went instead with another wide receiver in Jalen Naylor. And again, not giving up on Jalen Naylor. Looks pretty damn good. But James Houston, man, he would look very, very nice in purple. Let's go to the final pick, Vikings, round 7. They grab this cat right here, tight end Nick Muse. Look at him in that belly, that cute little pose. They said, we need Nick Muse on this team. We don't need this quarterback from Iowa State named Brock Purdy. We don't need him at all. We need this guy. This is who we need. But redraft, we're taking Brock Purdy, quarterback. Again, here's Brock Purdy's deal. Like, I still am not 100% sold on him, but here's what he does. He's in a system that uses him correctly, doesn't put too much on his plate. He makes the right reads. He puts the ball where it needs to be. He doesn't have a lot of turnovers. He's a very smart quarterback. Is he the next Tom Brady? I'm not going to say that right now, but it seems like the Niners are going to go with him for the future. And why not? He does the little things well, and he's smart, and his ball placement is good. And no spot seems too big for Brock Purdy. So the Vikings need a plan for Kirk Cousins moving forward, kind of an exit plan. And Purdy would have been the perfect guy to draft. You have him on the roster, you develop him a year or 2, and then you give him the reins. Not a guy who's going to really wow you physically with any of his traits, but a guy who just is smart and knows where to put the ball and can run an offense and, is very coachable. So sometimes that's all you need. And a lot of weapons in San Francisco, and Purdy's getting the ball to his weapons. So, we could have had Brock Purdy, but we got him. And Nick Muse, who knows? I mean, I think he's probably a depth piece next year at best. Otherwise, practice squad, or who knows? Maybe he doesn't even make the team. So let's look at what the Vikings could have had in a redraft. Look at this thing. Round 1, Christian Watson. Round 2, Jaquan Brisker. Round 2, Tariq Woolen. Round 3, Martin Emerson. Round 4, Cordell Volson. Round 5, Malcolm Rodriguez. Round 5, Isaiah Pacheco. Round 6, Jamari Salyer. Round 6, James Houston. And round 7, Brock Purdy. Man, that is a nice looking draft class, which the Vikings, if everything went perfectly for year 1, that's what they could have had. Again, it's all a game of what it could have, should have, but I am excited for the future of the class that they did take. The guys they do have: Seen, Booth, Asamoah, the Ass Man, Caleb Evans. I have a lot of very, very high expectations for them in year 2, expecting to see good things. But right now, man, that redraft looks pretty damn nice, pretty damn tempting. All right, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Would you have gone different directions with the picks? You love the guys we had. Again, I went with where the Vikings picked. I wasn't going to, start at 12. We made the trade. We picked at 32. That's where this thing was going to go. So don't tell me you would have took like Jameson Williams at 12, because that's not how we did this here. So again, let me know in the comments. You agree? You disagree? Do you believe in the draft class? Do you still have hope for the 2022 Vikings draft class? I hope you do, because you should. And also, I hope you keep your skull in your hole.